Hey there, my yogi friend. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Today's practice is going to be all about relieving lower back pain. So before we get started, I just want to emphasize that you please listen to your body. If any of these poses in today's sequence don't feel right for your lower back today, please feel free to omit them or modify as you need. You may want to have 2 blocks and some pillows for this practice, but other than that, you shouldn't need any other props. So whenever you're ready, hop onto your mat, and we're going to get started in a child's pose at the back of your mat. Take your knees out as wide as you'd like, bring your big toes to touch, and let your hips come back over your heels as you lower your forehead down towards the mat and extend your arms forward. And if it would feel more comfortable here, you might support your hips with a pillow in between your heels and your hips. And once you've settled in, take a moment to scan your body. Just notice how your lower back is feeling in this pose. Gradually bring your attention to your breath in and out of your nose. And let your body soften into this shape. Let your shoulders relax. And soften through your fingertips. Let's take a few more calming breaths here. Now, whenever you're ready, we'll meet in a tabletop position. Come up nice and slow, bringing your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Try and have your knees about hips width apart. We'll start off by moving through a few very gentle cat-cows. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Notice how your lower back feels. Exhale, curl your tailbone under, round your back, nice and gentle. Inhale, finding your cow. Exhale, round your back. And move at a nice slow pace, whatever works for you. Noticing the sensation in your lower back as you move through these gentle cat-cows. And this might mean going a little bit less than you normally would. Continue to use your breath to guide your movement. Just a couple more rounds. Maybe you can gradually start to make that movement a little bit larger. Still paying close attention to the sensation in your lower back. And then slowly come to stillness. Step your right foot in between your hands, coming into a low runner's lunge. And you may want to place your hands on a pair of blocks here. So we're not going to go too deep into this stretch, but sometimes relieving the tension in the hip flexors can help to relieve the tension in the lower back. Stack your knee above your ankle. Send your chest forward. Let your hips sink forward and down. Take a breath or two here. With your next inhale, send your hips back for half splits, coming onto your right heel. And it's okay if you have your back rounded for this one. So just make it a nice gentle motion, not really going to your fullest. Relax your shoulders down your back. And with your inhale, come back into your bend. Let your chest come forward, shoulders down your back. And one more time, send your hips back into your half splits. And continuing to observe your breath in and out of your nose. And with your next inhale, bring the bend back into your front knee. Take your blocks off to the side, but leave them close by. We're going to use them for the other side. Step back into your tabletop position, and then step your left foot through into your low lunge, stacking your left knee above your ankle. Bring your blocks back to frame your front foot. Let your hips sink forward and down, shoulders down your back. Lift your chest. Exhale, take it back into your half splits, straightening your front leg, coming onto your left heel. Allow some gentle rounding in your back. With your inhale, come back forward, letting your hips sink down. And exhale, slowly take it back into your half splits. Bring the bend back into your front knee. Take your blocks off to your side. And press back into your tabletop position, nice and gently. You may want to take a few hip circles here, just sort of swaying your hips from side to side, back towards the heels. And go ahead and change directions. And slowly come back into a neutral tabletop. Walk your hands forward about a handprint. Untuck your toes. Slowly press up into your downward facing dog. Keeping your knees bent if you need to. Draw your chest towards your thighs. Shoulders down away from your ears. And maybe you pedal out your dog nice and gently, just paying attention to that sensation in your lower back. If this feels like too much, come back to stillness. Continue to breathe. And then slowly make your way into a still down dog. Sending your heels back. Press down firmly into your hands. Take 2 breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly walk your hands and feet together at the center of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Feet can stay hips width apart. Bend your knees a lot here. Hands can come down to the floor or your pair of blocks. Release your head and neck. If it would feel good, you might try bringing your hands to opposite elbows and finding a gentle sway from side to side. And slowly come back to center. Release your hands back down to the floor or your blocks. Take another breath here. And then from here, turn your feet out and walk your feet out just a little bit wider so that they're kind of on the edges of your mat. We're going to slowly lower down into a squat pose. And if this feels really intense, you can take a block right underneath your hips and just sit on top of that block. From here, bring your hands to the inside of your thighs, palms together, lift your chest. If you feel like you can go a little bit deeper here and you don't need the block, you can take it out. Let your hips sink down in between your heels. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. With your last exhale, release your hands down to the mat. Press down to slowly lift your hips back up into that forward fold. Turn your feet to face to the top of your mat. Walk your hands to the top of your mat and your feet to the back of your mat, coming back into your downward facing dog. Take another breath here. And then slowly release your knees down to your mat. We're going to come down onto our bellies for a Sphinx pose. Lower onto your forearms and extend your legs behind you. Shoulders stacked above your elbows. Press your heart forward. Relax your glutes. Relax through the back of your thighs. And take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And whenever you're ready, slide back into a child's pose. Hips come over your heels. Take your knees out as wide as you'd like. Take 2 breaths here. Bringing your awareness back to your lower back. Just noticing if anything has shifted. And very gently begin to walk your hands in, bringing your spine upright. We're going to swing our legs around and come down onto your back. Scoot your hips forward towards the center of your mat. Feet can stay hips width apart. And then slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms can come by your side. And then draw your knees into your chest, hands to your knees. And if you need to, you can keep your knees a little bit closer towards your hips rather than drawing them all the way into your chest. So just notice what would feel better today for your lower back. And begin to rock from side to side. Nice gentle massage for the lower back. You might gradually start to take that into a circular motion. And go ahead and change directions. And you might start to take your knees out in opposite directions. Slow, gentle circles. And go ahead and change directions. Slowly come back to center and gently release your feet down to the mat. Coming onto the soles of your feet, hips width apart. Arms can come by your side. Draw your belly button in and curl your tailbone towards your pubic bone, just finding a gentle pelvic tilt. And then slowly release. So let's move for a few breaths through these very gentle pelvic tilts, not lifting the hips off the ground. So as you curl your tailbone under, you'll press your lower back into the mat. And when you release, you'll come back to the natural curve of your spine. And go ahead and take about 2 or 3 more of these. And then slowly come back into a neutral position and reach for your block very gently. Place it between your thighs. Keep your feet pointing forward, hips width apart. Draw your belly button in, curl your tailbone under, begin to squeeze the block and lift your hips up for a bridge pose. And you may not go all the way to your highest, that's perfectly fine. Keep squeezing the block. Take a few more breaths here. And very gently lower back down onto the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your block off to your side. Draw your knees back into your chest, any amount. Maybe find another gentle rocking motion here. And keep your right knee into your chest. Gently extend your left leg long in front of you, either lower down onto the sole of your foot, or you can extend that leg all the way out, letting your foot come down to the mat. And once again, you might just find a gentle rocking motion here. And then slowly come back onto the sole of your left foot. Draw that knee into your chest. Extend your right leg in front, or keep that knee bent with the sole of your foot on the mat. Go ahead and find that rocking motion side to side. And then draw your right leg in. Draw both knees into your chest for a moment. And we're going to come into a figure 4. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh, taking your knee out to the side. Thread your arms in between your legs, grabbing onto the back of your right thigh. And draw your legs in closer towards your chest, any amount. Noticing if the sensation changes in your lower back. And then you might find that rocking motion once again. And slowly come to stillness, bringing your right knee in line with your hip. Relax your shoulders and your face and jaw. Take another 3 breaths here, in and out of your nose, letting your breath be natural and smooth. And very gently uncross your legs, and we'll take it to the other side. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Thread your arms in between your legs, grabbing onto the back of your thigh. And then maybe you start off with that gentle rocking motion. And slowly come to stillness, lining your knee back up with your hip. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths here. Whenever you're ready, slowly uncross your legs, drawing both knees back into your chest. And then very gently, let your knees fall over to the left for a supine twist. If you need to, you can send your hips a little bit over to the right, and it might feel good here to bring a pillow in between your knees. Let your right arm come out to your side. Gaze can follow. If this feels too intense for your lower back, you might place that pillow or another pillow underneath your left knee. Let your body and your breath soften. Go ahead and take another 5 breaths here. And very gently bring your knees back through center, bringing your spine into a neutral position for a moment. And then let them drop over to your right. Once again, support your knees with your pillows if you need to. Left arm can come out to your side. Gaze can follow. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat. Take another few calming breaths here. And whenever you're ready, bring your knees back through center. Take your pillows off to the side. And then one more time, draw your knees into your chest. We'll finish with a happy baby. Take your knees out as wide as you'd like. And if this feels like enough for you here, stay right here. Otherwise, if it would feel good, you can bring your hands to your shins, ankles, outer edges of your feet, or with your peace fingers, grab onto your big toes and take your knees down towards your armpits. Try to keep your tailbone rooted into the mat. And stay here for about 10 breaths. Slowly draw your knees back into your chest. Take another breath or two here. And gently release your feet down, getting ready for Shavasana. Now it might feel good here to support your knees with your pillows. And let your knees knock out to the side. Arms come by your side, palms pointing up. Let go of any last little bit of tension. Feel free to stay here longer if you'd like. Otherwise, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And gently roll over onto your side, curling up into a fetal position. Whenever you're ready, make your way up into a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your knees. And pause here for a moment to notice how your lower back feels after this practice. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, and we'll finish with a breath together. Take a deep inhale and exhale it out. Bring your hands together in front of your third eye, bringing gratitude to this practice. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. I hope you're feeling a little bit of relief in your lower back from today's practice. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you'd like to continue practicing together, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I put out new classes. And if you'd like to let me know how this class felt for you, please write some comments below, hit the like button, or let me know what other kinds of classes you're looking for. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of your day.